Good afternoon, Sports Insanity Network fans. It's Mark Oldovsky, Halpern, surgery number 17 coming up, Halpern. Coming in with you with my PIC, Danny, Vice President Danny Boy, Reginald Dan Ryans. Good afternoon, morning, Dan. How are you?
I'm feeling good. I'm getting the slight okay from the doctors, Mark. We didn't talk about this off air. I've lost 30 pounds.
It's my
A,
boy.
a lot of it though is water weight. So they're like, I bring up the muscles, so more protein and stuff on the way. But trying my best and do whatever I can.
You know who we have to get you in touch with? The Samuel L. Jackson version of Coach Carter. He could do it.
Yeah,
He can help you with it.
he'll run me to the ground just like those boys. Yeah, he's trying to whip me
Yeah.
pay for basketball season, you know?
Yeah. Great basketball movie and great true story if you ever want to go see it,
Mm.
Coach Carter.
Yep.
But we're not here to talk about Coach Carter. We're here to talk about the New York Knicks. And where do we stand? Right behind. Not 4 games, not 3 games, not 2 games. We are right on their tail, Dan. I don't care. He's back. We knew he's coming. He was going to be back. We might as well say the name that he shall not be spoken, Jason Tatum. It's a scary moment to think that we knew he'd be coming back,
Yeah.
and we just don't know at what full level he can bring yet.
Well, I'll tell you this. From Jump Street, he has been an immediate impact for the Boston Celtics. So, and look, him coming back as early as he did was not shocking at all, given the extensive rehab that he took on. So, look, the bottom line is, if you're the Knicks, you're struggling right now. You're trying to catch up to Boston. This is something that, you had to anticipate. And now you're kind of behind the eight ball here because Tatum's back. They're trying to win a title. You know, sucks.
It- but it more or less sucks for the Knicks because it's Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
He is now that featured player like Alonzo Mourning once was, and then Tim Duncan in the finals that 1 year. He's that name that the Knicks have now added to the list yet again,
Yeah.
and we will see some fireworks between him and Jalen Brunson throughout the end of this season. But where Dan and I left off was back, way back, with the Toronto Raptors, where the Knicks won 111-95. Not much of a surprise here that the Knicks have pretty much owned the Raptors this season. Um, had a loss here and there, but have played great basketball with them throughout. Usual suspects, Brunson with 26. Cat had a nice game with 21 and 12, and then Anobi with 15 and Josh Hart with 12. And it feels like 11 points, Dan, seems to be Mikal Bridges' number.
Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna get to more with Mikal in just a bit. Not the showing that I need to see from him. Like it's a
No.
spoiler for a bigger conversation we need to have about him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
And it'll be coming this episode, but gotta let you know why we're leading up to it.
yeah,
Um, from the bench wise, Diawara with 8 points. Robinson had a nice 10 rebound game. And then Landry Shamet and Abelardo have been trading off good days and bad days. So, at
yeah,
least, you're getting one with the other.
yeah. But Jose had 5 assists and was a plus 19,
Which,
on the
which,
floor.
which is
So
a huge advantage in any
like,
in any ball game.
yeah. So like, look, we can't expect Alvarado to put up big time numbers all the time. That's not the purpose of his presence. Purpose of his presence to be annoying. And, you know, when Brunson's off the floor or when Anunoby is off the floor, he could be that guy to still be productive, still have the Knicks be productive without the main guys on the floor. So, uh,
Yeah. Shout out to RJ Barrett putting up 20. We'll always
mm,
have love for
yeah,
RJ. But the big stop, Dan, for me was them stopping Scotty Barnes to only 14 points.
yeah,
I think that, I mean, not to say he did have 4 rebounds, an assist, and 3 steals and a block. I mean, to show up on all the major stat lines is still something, but he was held below his 19-point average number.
yeah, yeah. Knicks did a very good job defensively. Um, and I believe this is at that point, it was let's see, um, one, two, three, fourth game in like five where they held teams to under 100 points, which is, that was a pretty good, it's been pretty good defensively at that point. So, um,
Right.
and that so Knicks did a very good job on defense, certainly in this game. And they allowed, of course, the Raptors. They threatened a couple of times in this game, but ultimately the Knicks powering through points wise, and didn't really allow a massive run to happen. So you give them credit there. And like I said, it's a game that you should win. The Knicks are 4-0 against the Raptors. So, like, you should take advantage of teams that you're way more superior to.
Exactly. And as Dan was pointing out, the Knicks had a very good second quarter, giving them a 9-point advantage at that point. Uh, the third quarter was pretty meek. The Raptors came ahead by 5, but the Knicks put it away in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, it was a good all-around effort by the New York Knicks, and we need to see a lot of that. And then came the hard-fought game against the Oklahoma Thunder. And this, to me, Dan, was going to be the test for the Knicks to see
Mhm.
if they could play against most likely the team that's going to be there. I mean, there are some other challengers. I'm not going to say they're not, but this Thunder team is the best I've seen in recent past.
Yeah.
So the Knicks lost this game 100 to 103 to 100. Knicks, I really don't want to give high numbers here because there were no high numbers here. Everyone averaged below 20, and that's unacceptable
Yeah.
when you're playing this huge team. However, big shout out to Karl Anthony Towns for 17 rebounds, not to forget about
Yeah.
Josh Hart with 12 rebounds, and then Brunson finally showing the Steve Nash like 15 assists. Dan?
Mhm. Yeah, no, definitely a valiant effort, but what it really came down to was, you had chances at the end, obviously, to tie the game, try to force overtime. What really came down to was Oklahoma City with some clutch baskets down the stretch when they already
Yes.
had a lead, and they had a big lead, you know, again, going into the fourth quarter. The Knicks did go on a run in the fourth quarter, try to make it close and everything. But yeah, no, like when you can't, sorry about that. You can't allow Oklahoma City to go crazy points wise. There are several near 30-point games here, and you know again, you just can't allow that to happen if you're the Knicks.
Right. And the Nick bench was not much of a help in this one as they did not excuse me, as they did not really get used. Diawara had really a nice game off the bench. It's always nice to see the guy you're going to be relying on to possibly replace Mitchell Robinson go 3 for 4 from 3-point range. That's always a great sign. And then, of course, the one who's been used the most, Landry Shamet, had the most to show with 31 minutes on the court. Um, but when you look at the Knicks numbers, Brunson 16, Bridges 15, Hart 10, Towns 17, and Anobi 16. When you're playing a team like the Thunder, and we'll get to that final play in a second, when you're going on against a team like the Thunder, like when you have Shai Gordon out, SGA putting up 26, Holmgren putting up 28,
Yeah.
and you have Dort putting up 16, and their bench was really, really involved. The two things that I like that I want to say is one, Hartenstein with the big goose egg. Sorry, Isaiah, if you're not in the orange and blue, you ain't scoring. But during the last few seconds of the game, it was a 1 point game. Obviously, you're giving it to your go-to man, and that's SGA here, who can really hit it from anywhere.
Yeah.
Offensively charged Jalen Brunson cleanly, and three refs were looking at it and didn't call it,
Mm,
and that unfortunately led to the 3-point win by the Thunder. It should have been a block, and
yeah.
Knicks ball with a 1 point lead.
Yeah, I
Dan,
mean,
your
in
thoughts
the
on that situation?
yeah, that was tough to watch because it's a very obvious foul by Shea Gilgeous-Alexander that wasn't called. And when the refs missed that, and again, like it is what it is. The Knicks didn't do themselves any favors either here. Um, but no, that impacts the game a little bit. Game would be way closer if um, if there's foul shots there. So,
Yep.
and of course we all know Brunson's a great free throw shooter, or at least he tries to be. So, yeah, that was tough to watch. It was obvious foul, wasn't called. Um, yeah, no, Mark, it kind of pissed me off a little bit because when you miss that call, like again, impacts the game, and you know Thunder got away one big time. And look, the margin was 3 points at the end. So just imagine what it would have looked like. You know,
hmm you get those foul shots, it's one, and then it's a different story.
Instead of
But
attempting a three at the end, you're probably attempting a 2 pointer or
and
whatever.
probably you're going right inside to Towns or whatever at that point, or you're going to Jalen. So
You know,
the Knicks take a hard fought loss on that one, but showed their anger on the next game when they played the Denver Nuggets. The Knicks come away with the win 142 to 103. I don't know, Dan. I think there was some anger in this game. And not anger at the Nuggets, just anger the Knicks needed to let out without
mm,
without question.
yeah,
Uh oh, sorry, high points, not from our usual suspects here. OG Anunoby, 34 points, had a breakout night.
mm,
And Josh Hart with 18, Towns 17 with 13 rebounds. But Jalen Brunson again, not doing it from the shot, dishing it out. 15 assists again on the night. That's in the last 3 games that he had played up to that point. He has averaged close to 13.2 assists a game. That's helping your team.
yeah.
Um, Dan, at no point did the Denver Nuggets really control this game at any point.
I mean, they kind of did after one, but you also got to keep in mind they also lost Jamal Murray. Um, in the first half, I think it was like an ankle injury or whatever it was.
It
Um,
was a lower leg injury, yeah.
yeah, it was let's see. Yeah, he stepped on foot and his left ankle, his ankle sprain. So, by the way, I was too busy working to watch this game, so I watched highlights. But not having Jamal Murray on the floor sucks if you're Denver. Like he's one of your best players. So, and of course it's funny because the Nuggets finally had their true starting five on the floor and it barely lasted a quarter. So it's like
Right.
it was rough. So I'm sure Jamal Murray, was in there for more than 18 minutes. Like it probably would have been a way better night for Denver. Again, they had a lead after one, but yeah, Mark is spot on. Like second quarter on, it was all Knicks. And it wasn't even close. Great production off the bench. I love seeing these numbers. A bunch of our bench in double digits. Karl-Anthony Towns again with another 17 pop. He's actually been scoring pretty well, along with getting his a trillion rebounds per game. So that's been pretty good to see. I love the night OG Anunoby had. He had 6 3-pointers. He was 11 for 17 from the field. And um not a huge scoring night for Jalen Brunson, but he had 15 assists. So
Yep.
it was an all-around good offensive night. Um, Again, Denver Nuggets team that's very good, but Knicks so far have actually done a pretty nice job against them. Second game against them wasn't even close. You know,
Yep. Shout out to Nikola Jokic, 38 points.
yep.
1 of 7 from 3-point range. Look, I understand your team is down, but why worsen your stat record? I mean, like that. 9 of 10
Yeah.
free throws. Maybe he can come teach Mitchell Robinson. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. I mean,
I mean,
the
you
the
could
guy
be, yeah, you
the,
could be
the guy
Aaron Gordon.
deserves his shout out.
You could be Aaron Gordon though. Jokic was 1 of 7 3-point range. Aaron Gordon has 1 for 7 from the field. He only had 3 points, contributed nothing. Um, so yeah, I mean, Jokic is the only bright spot of the night. But realistically, like you said, the Knicks, it was all Knicks all night. So
Yeah.
wasn't even close.
The Knicks then got on a plane and flew out, not too much, to Los Angeles to take on probably the last time they would face LeBron James in LA, as they've already had the final game with them in New York. The Knicks just not up to it. Lost one nine. They lost 110-97. Back to the usual suspects, Jalen Brunson, 24 points, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Yet again, 25 points for Towns. Over the last games that we have discussed, he's averaged close to 19.8 points a game and 14 rebounds a game. That's the type of performance we should be seeing out of Towns.
Yeah.
And I'm saying we're seeing it now, but this should have been going on all season.
Yeah,
Why
this
hasn't it? I'm not. It hasn't, I'm not able to really command on. The Knicks bench wasn't really used except for Diawara and Richardson. Shemet getting pretty much a lot of the time lately on the court, but Alvarado still making a presence.
Mhm.
Dan?
Yeah, this was not a great game for the Knicks. Um, Only 97 points total. You're getting no production whatsoever offensively. Luka Doncic is absolutely kicking your ass on the court. Like it was rough to watch this game. No LeBron, obviously not like LeBron makes a total massive impact on this Laker team, but LeBron's a veteran, so not having him still can suck for the Lakers. Didn't suck in this game. Yeah, another one of those nights where you know the Knicks really didn't have full control in this game, even when they're trying to make a comeback in the fourth quarter and They made somewhat of a run. Again, the timely hoops from the Lakers down the stretch really you know, turned this game into a complete another nightmare. So wasn't very good.
Right. And, the Lakers are going to be there in the finals on the Western side. And who knows? I mean, would it be fitting to be a New York LA final?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson uh wasn't great. Um Overall the Knicks shooting wasn't great either. I think they
No.
were 8 for 34 on 3-point attempts. It was embarrassing to watch them shoot threes. And then, of course, another person that we need to highlight, and again, we're gonna emphasize it when we talk about it more. Mikal Bridges with goose egg. Nada. Nothing.
Here brings up an interesting topic, Dan, and we went back and forth on this come trade deadline. Did the Knicks make a mistake not trading him?
I think they're maybe I don't know if it's Leon Rose, I don't know if it's Jalen Brunson who wanted Mikal on this team because you wanted the Nova Knicks, you wanted his guy DiVincenzo, you wanted Josh Hart and Bridges all be teammates again. Obviously, DiVincenzo's balling out in Minnesota, right?
Right.
I don't know who it is. Is it Leon Rose or is Jalen Brunson that's trying to justify the four unprotected first round draft picks or whatever it was that we sent to Brooklyn just to get Bridges. But it sucks to watch him play this poorly. And look, again, we're not asking him to be a top dog shooting wise. We just need production out of him. This stretch of games that we've seen from Bridges, we're seeing a lot of single digit efforts points wise. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not acceptable enough. You know, again, even though we're not looking for his massive point production that he gave with when he was with the Nets, we also are looking for someone to be productive and being a complement to a Brunson's 28-point night or OG Anunoby's 25-point night. Like we're looking for that from him, and we're not getting that. And knowing that we gave up so much to get him, it it's very disappointing to watch. And like I'm beyond concerned at this point. Like I don't know what Mikal Bridges we're gonna be getting moving forward. That's just the reality of the situation. It's not a reality that I want to live in because I want all the Knicks to do well. But if Bridges is still not giving us the production that we need from him, you know, we're gonna have to really start to rethink this roster. And if it means taking our losses with him, then it means taking our losses. We can't. This performance is not acceptable from on any level.
And it doesn't get better as the next night, this should have been a game the New York Knicks should have walked in and walked
Yes,
out. The LA Clippers. That's all I'm going to say. No, no offense
the
to,
Clipper under
to the
500
Clippers.
mark.
Yeah, I know, but they got a guy who I greatly respect that I wanted them to trade for, but I don't even think they were going to go. And that's Kawhi Leonard. They let him run. They let him run loose. They really didn't cover him as well. And this is again, as Dan said, it was a 500 team. The New York Knicks, whether it was by 1 point or 50 points, they should have came out with a win here. Usual suspects, high points, Brunson 28. Towns with a beautiful night of 35 and a wasted 35, if you understand what I'm saying, Gare. 35 and 12 rebounds. Hart with a nice double double of 12 rebounds. Sorry, 12 points and 13 rebounds. And then to bring up, and Anobi with 22, and to bring up Dan's point on what he was just saying, 7. It's better than 0, but 7 from Mikal Bridges. Yes, he had 7 rebounds and 4 assists. Didn't help translate into a
It's nothing.
win.
It's nothing. That's what it is. Nothing.
It was
It
a
was rough.
disappointing loss
Yeah.
on a lot of
Um,
levels.
yeah. Allowing Benedict Mathurin to come off the bench and give you 28 points, like that total embarrassment. Total embarrassment. And I know it was just an 8-point loss. The Clippers are not good, Mark.
No,
They're trying to get into a play-in game. That's how things are with the Clippers. They're not a
right.
world beater.
No, but if they play like this against a team like the Knicks, who's to say they can't sneak in?
Yeah.
I mean, as we mentioned, Kawhi, had a great game, 29, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. But how about Darius Garland? And we've talked about him when he was with Cleveland. Put up 23 points and 7 assists. He had a great
He,
game.
he is tremendous. Yes.
I'm
And
not going to say the Clippers don't have the players to put up numbers, but there is no way the Knicks should have lost this game in any sense of fashion.
yeah, this Knick team is better than the Clippers. Um, Another thing that we really haven't harped on was the lack of bench production. And the bench production has been lacking lately. A lot of the points are coming from the starters, and that can be very frustrating. When we talked about Tibbs, we talked about bench production and the fact that Tibbs didn't really play his bench. Well, it's starting to get to that with Mike Brown, where
On and off games, yes.
he's not playing him because they're not really doing much for them. So obviously the biggest criticism comes from the starting five. 100%. There's no question about that. But this bench gotta help us out too. Like I said, one of the I've been praising Jose Alvarado since he got here. And I still think it was a great pickup by the Knicks. But even he hasn't really been producing much lately. So,
No,
like this is what I mean. So it's been pretty rough to watch this Knick bench, along with the fact that the starting five hasn't really done much. Um, it falls squarely on the coach. It also falls on the captain. Brunson. You gotta get this team together, man, because you
yep.
can't have a bad loss against an LA Clippers team. Like I said, try and go for a play-in. That's not better than flat out. Like you already beat them in New York, beat them again in their house. They can't do it.
No. The Knicks went on to play a little nice music over in the state of Utah against the Jazz, um, winning 134 to 117. So out of the last, 7 games, a couple of games of high points, 140, 134, 120. Nice to see the numbers coming up. The sad point is one of them was a loss to the Clippers. High points from OG Anunoby, 22. Towns, 21, but less than 10 rebounds. Very shocked here. Brunson back to his usual numbers of 28. And how about this, Dan? Mikal Bridges, 5. And Landry Shamet got the start tonight. Uh, got the start last night, I'm sorry. And only contributed 7 points himself. But what Dan was just talking about was reinforced this game was the bench was alive this game, and the bench was widely used. Obviously, I had mentioned the fact that the starters did what the starters do, but Jordan Clarkson had to have some of that secret Michael Jordan juice before the game, and 26 minutes, 27 points, 10 of 15 from the floor, 3 from 5 for 3-point land. He also contributed 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Mitchell Robinson with 13 rebounds, but the story here, not to mention for the fact that they won, the story is Jordan Clarkson. And where has this been?
In hiding. It's like he goes incognito from time to time. Uh, yeah, man, like good game out of Clarkson. I'm glad that off the bench was he at 27. Um, so that was good to watch. Um, yeah, man, like if we can get production like this off the bench every night, that would be very helpful for the Knicks. Um, yeah, no, it was a very good to watch. Good to see Diawara get involved with 10 of his own. Alvarado back to being the productive man off the bench. That was pretty cool. Um, like I said, when you're facing teams that are inferior to you, like the Utah Jazz, they're 26, 25 games under 500. Like this should be an easy victory for you. And I'm glad that they made it as easy as possible. I know the Utah had a lead at some point in this game, which is very frustrating. I think the Knicks were down like 15 at some point in this game, which is embarrassing. But the
Right.
but the Knicks were able to correct that, and like I said, Brunson, Clarkson, Towns again with another productive offensive night. Like it again, you should be able to beat these teams. So I'm glad they were able to take care of business and shut the critics up for a little bit. But 3-3-6, that's not good enough. Not against top
Now,
Western Conference talent, Eastern Conference talent. Like it's not good enough for any team.
the Knicks will go on to face the Pacers tonight, the good old-fashioned evil foe. Just as a note, if you haven't been keeping track, one game separates the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks.
Mhm.
One little game.
Yeah, well,
They can do it. They're 2 behind because of the loss column, but that will catch up when the Knicks have the off night.
yeah.
One game, and they will face each other at least one more time before the season over, if not twice. Once in Boston, once in New York. And what those games will be, we won't see. They will face the Pacers tonight, but we do have a little bit of interesting news and something that really needs to get a little bit of highlight, as we know other networks are talking about it in full still. Bam! Adebayo puts up 83 points the other night. So now it's Wilt, Bam, then Kobe. There was not, he was not out of the game 10 minutes and he received the letter that he was being drug tested. Dan, you know, I look, that was a miraculous night from a guy who hasn't put up more than 30, 35 all season.
Right.
Known more as his defensive skills in the rebound area, but is, decent offensively. 83 points.
I mean, he was a man possessed. Like, no, man, like it was good. I mean, look, and it was against the Wizards. We all know the Wizards aren't great, so um, whenever you have the hot hand, like show off the hot hand, and he had more than that. Like this man was on fire, Mark, all night long. I
He had
mean,
the lava hand.
yeah, it was a absolutely tremendous night for Bam Adebayo. And good that he gets to have this moment. He passes Kobe Bryant um uh for second all time in uh points in the game, which is great. Um No, but he again, man possessed. He had 7 3-pointers. He had 20 uh shots made total. Like, he was awesome all night long and played 42 minutes. You
Yeah.
know, so and look, the Wizards are trash. So, if you're gonna have a massive point total, like do it against teams that are terrible, you know? So it was an awesome night. It was funny. We were watching it in the control room because I'm in Washington D.C., so I get to get the cable coverage, and you know it was a lot of free throws. I think he made like 36 points just from free throws.
Something like I know it was high,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then of course, when he was chasing the record, they just kept feeding him the ball. And we were kind of worried that Spoelstra was going to take him out of the game. And we're like, no, no, don't take him out. Like, he's so close to Kobe. Like, don't take him out. But they didn't. And it took him a long time to get to 83, but he was able to make his shots to do so. So it was fun watching this massive chase. Like, he was awesome all night.
Definite hats off to Adebayo. Tyrell Maxey is going to miss time for the 76ers 3 weeks. That's actually really huge.
Mm,
It's a big loss for the 76ers, man.
yeah, I mean, Maxey is one of their better shooters. You don't want him you don't want him to miss time, so that really does suck. It's a finger.
And the Golden
I forget what he did, but it was a finger that they're saying. Um,
and then the Warriors announced that Stephen Curry will miss yet another 7 games due to the knee issue.
mm.
Is it time to just say shut him down?
Mm, um, it depends on what they want to do. Like, you know,
I mean, look, we know Stephen Curry could miss probably the first 80 games and come out in game 81 and still score 50 points. He's that type of guy. It doesn't matter how much time he misses.
yeah, the Golden State Warriors right now are in the play. And they're sitting pretty right now. Like, there's not much. There's a lot of separation between where they are and where the Memphis Grizzlies are, which is about what, 9.5 games or so, whatever it is. So
Mhm.
if you're the Golden State Warriors, obviously, you don't want Stephen Curry to miss a lot of time because you are trying to get it playing. But I think they could afford to because that part of the West is not very good. So as long as you win your games, you should at the very least make the play in. And um, if you get Curry down the stretch, that's what matters the most.
Yep. And Curry being the most fearsome person on the court, who,
Yeah,
as we've seen before games, just takes the ball, hucks it across the court, and it still goes in.
yeah.
It's unbelievable. That's going to do it here for us on the Six Man Up, brought to you by the Dugout and Millwood, my baseball card store that's in a little bit of a hiatus here on the Sports Insanity Network. Please follow us at www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com, where you can get some great blogs that Mike Rifkin is taking over a little bit, as I'm going to be switching to more podcasts for a little bit, and then I'll go back to writing more. We will be having a Jeopardy night in which autographs will be given away by the Dugout of Millwood. Please check us out on those socials. Danny Boy, where are those socials?
At Insanity Real, X, Facebook, and then of course the website sportssanitynetwork.com. Please follow all of our socials, log on to our website, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like this video, like all of our videos, um, and continue to support us. We appreciate you, we love you, and we always thank you.
And for Mark Oldup, Sky Alpern, along with my PIC, Danny, Vice President Danny Boy Reginald, saying have a good afternoon, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Bye bye.